So you want to lock in, but it's so hard to be disciplined. I get it. I've been there. Unfortunately, we have to get a little bit uncomfortable to grow, but it doesn't have to be impossible. Here's how you can actually beat laziness and get your life together. Hi, and welcome back to Trying My Best podcast. Today's episode is called Trying My Best to Stop Being Lazy. This one is for those days when you know you have stuff to do, but for some reason, you just can't bring yourself to do it. You keep procrastinating, telling yourself, I'll do it later. But at the end of the day, the task is still not done. It's okay. We all have those days. Don't beat yourself up for it, but here's how we can fix it. Number 1 is to make a plan before you panic. A lot of the times when we procrastinate, it's not actually because we're lazy, but because we're so overwhelmed by all of the things that we have to do. So the first step is to actually plan what you need to do and when you're gonna do it. Like, for example, I know that I have 2 exams tomorrow and I have a speech to do the day after that. I know that it's important, but I just don't know where to start. How on earth am I supposed to get all of that done today? And then suddenly the idea of scrolling on my phone or watching a TV show seems a lot easier. We avoid the work because we haven't broken it down. So how you can fix this is to make a realistic plan. It doesn't have to be super pretty. It doesn't have to be what people tell you to be because your plan is going to work well for you. But for me, I recommend time blocking them, not just writing a to-do list, but actually kind of scheduling it to fit your day and when you're going to do each task. What I do is I split my day into either 30-minute chunks or I basically allocate like around 1 or 2 hours to each task. Also, don't forget to schedule in some rest time because rest is mandatory and without it, you're just going to be so burnt out and you're going to want to scroll on your phone even more. Number 2 is consistency is always better than perfection. Discipline means showing up and doing it even when you don't feel motivated. Even when you don't feel like it, just show up, okay? It's better to, do 50% of the work on the first day and then do 60% and then do 80% and then maybe even 100, then showing up at 100% on the first 2 days and then just stopping after that. Because realistically, over the course of your life or even just a period of your life, you're not gonna be feeling like sunshines and rainbows 24/7, okay? To achieve progress, you don't need to always be doing your best, despite my channel being called Trying My Best. It's not about trying to be perfect. It's about trying your best even if you're not feeling like it. So one day's best might not be the same as another day's best. What I'm trying to say is, even if you're sad, even if you're heartbroken, even if you feel really tired that day, just show up. Do it tired, do it sad, and that's enough. I really want us all to get rid of the mindset that I don't feel like it, I don't really feel that great today, so I'm not gonna do it, because that is not what progress is about. That's not what discipline is about at all. Number 3 is eliminate distraction. Now, when I'm talking about distraction, of course, in this modern day and age, it is gonna be the good old phone. Let's say you're studying and then you pull up your TikTok to scroll for a quick 5 minutes. You've already lost because we all know that the 5 minutes is gonna turn into an hour-long break. So what we need to do is to get rid of the phone. There are a few ways to kind of get rid of your phone as a distraction. What I like to do is I have a focus called work, and what this focus means is that all of my notifications are muted. Basically, if someone texts me on Instagram or on any other social media app, it won't be notified. But I do have an exception for calls because I just feel like if there's an emergency, someone would call me, so I just want to be notified. I think that's such a good way to cut distractions, because honestly, a piece of whatever material this is just sitting on your desk is not really that distracting, but it's distracting when there's a little ding your crush just texted you. My point is, create a work mode or a focus that disables all of your social media apps and stuff like that. What I also like to do sometimes is to physically remove your phone. So put it in another room, put it in a drawer, put it somewhere far away from the place that you're locking in, or give it to like a roommate or your parents to discard for a little while. Another thing I do when I study that's I feel like it's kind of weird is I put on earplugs instead of headphones. Basically, the reason why I do this was initially because I don't have noise cancelling headphones, but we as a generation should learn to be more comfortable with silence. And when you first try it, it really is a whole new world, because you literally can't hear anything except for your breathing, which is a lot louder than it usually is. So I think earplugs are a great way to remove noise distractions. And also, I hate to say this because I know a lot of people love to listen to music while they study, but if you are doing something that requires focus and requires you to really think, music is gonna distract you. It's especially those with lyrics, so just keep that in mind. Number 4 is about starting tasks to gain momentum, especially when you have just exited your lazy girl era. It can be very hard to kind of transition from that into like hardcore work right away, things like revision. So I like to combine my tasks so that they are a little bit more manageable, or they sound less intimidating. For example, if you have like a super time-consuming, tedious chore to do, then it might help if you, play a podcast in the background. And I know I just talked about distractions, but for tasks that don't demand a lot of your focus, I think this is such a great way to keep you going, to combine stuff that you don't like with the stuff that you like to do. So another example could be, going to the gym, or like just going on a walk whilst listening to a podcast about your revision. Like, how you can generate revision podcasts on Notebook LM? Like, what I did the other day was I fed it my econ notes, and then it produced like a podcast episode on stuff like economies of scale, and then I listened to that while I was like in the gym. So I think that was really productive of me. Number 5 is super important, and it is to start your morning right. I cannot stress this enough. Your morning will make or break you. I'm not saying that you need to have like a super fancy, classy, elaborate morning routine, but the worst thing you can do when you wake up is to immediately check your phone, because the dopamine that comes from all the short form content that is tailored to you because of the algorithm, it's gonna spike your dopamine up here, and after you're done scrolling, it's gonna go back all the way down, and that makes focusing, which is kind of like a low dopamine task, so much harder, because you're now addicted to you just experienced a high, so now this feels even more boring than usual. So make sure you get natural, real dopamine, for example, sunlight, you can stretch, you can move your body instead of watching TikTok. Okay, let's say your brain is absolutely fried. You messed up, basically. You've been scrolling on your phone or whatever, and now you need to do something so that you can get back into work mode. So my tips for you would be change your environment, especially if you work in the same environment as you rest. It can be really hard for your brain and your subconscious mind to distinguish between work and rest mode. So you could go to a cafe or just sit at a different area in your house, and I think that helps a little bit. Another tip is to switch subjects or switch tasks. That gives you a fresh new start, and it's just gonna kind of reset your brain. And you could also do some intentional rest with no screens. You could stretch, go for a walk, or do some journaling, some reading, something enjoyable and relaxing without the overstimulation of social media. Number 7 is to build an identity. This is leaning towards affirmations and mindset shifts almost. So what you want to do is I'm not even going to say want, like you need to believe that this version of you, this disciplined, hardworking version of you is yourself. You know what I mean? Like, I want you to fully embody it, literally say it with me right now. Like, I am a hardworking and studious person or whatever. If you keep thinking, I can't do this because I'm lazy, or I would never be able to finish this, it seems like it's a minuscule thing, but really it's gonna damage your brain so much, especially in the long run. So please, you are what you say you are, so utilize that. At the end of the day, remember that laziness is just a habit. You can always change your habits. And you're not behind, you're not failing just because you are procrastinating. Okay, I've been there too. I'm also trying my best. So I hope that you learned something from this video. Subscribe if you enjoyed it, because that means that we'll be in this journey together. Bye.